Right guys, so we're out today shooting some catapults in this private woodland. I've got my raptor. What you got? It's Chloe. She's got a wasp. Keith's got
dragon.
Little dragon frame from China. So we're going to shoot a few cans for you, a few targets for you, and then afterwards I'm going to talk to you about the right setup for beginners and what you should be doing. This video really is aimed more at a beginner audience, so if you know what you're on about, then probably not best to watch it. However, be grateful if you could share it with someone who does need a bit of help. So without further ado, let's have a few shots. Right, so we've just had a nice couple of hours plinking in the woods, some nice target shooting. We've took down our targets, we've picked the rubbish up, and they're heading out. But before we do so, I just want to have a quick talk with you about setups. Again, this is not an in-depth video, it's just a brief description aimed at beginners. If you don't know what a setup essentially is the elastic and ammo that you intend to shoot with your catapult. You might be shooting over the top, which is banded like that. You might be shooting through the forks, which is banded on the outside, and the projectile goes through. Doesn't matter, that's a personal preference thing. I would strongly recommend, if you're just starting out, get yourself an inexpensive frame such as a Wasp Unifox. Very good frame, and deadly in the right hands, by the way. That can be banded up over the top or through the forks. Or if you prefer multiplex, go for someone like Nick Hegarty or Gamekeeper John, who've got a variety of designs that you can learn on. So right, setups, what is going to work for you? Well, the key question is, what do you want to do with your catapult? Are you going to be hunting? Are you going to be target shooting, tournament shooting, or are you going to be doing a mixture of both? You need to really match your ammo to the band. It's the most important thing. There are various types of elastic available. There's flat elastic, which I've become very fond of and I shoot all the time. There's also tubular elastic, again with its pros and cons. The tubular elastic tends to be a bit harder draw weight, so it lasts a lot longer. It's not as susceptible to the cold as flat bands, but it does last a hell of a long time, and I used it for years to great effect. If you're hunting, it's dead quiet as well. Flat bands, very quick, lighter draw, doesn't last as long, but end of the day, I don't mind changing bands. So, if you want to hunt, now it's worth bearing in mind that within the England Slingshot Federation, we as target shooters, we only allow ammo that ranges from 6mm up to 10mm, and it has to be steel. So I would strongly recommend anyone starting out to go for an ammo in between this spectrum. Reason for that is, eventually if you decide that you want to start target shooting at tournaments, then you can do so, and you're used to the ammo. With respect to hunting, if that's what you want to do, you need to work out what you want as a setup. I mean, draw weight's very important. If you're shooting a 10mm steel, for argument's sake, or 9.5 steel, that setup that I currently have on my frame is no good whatsoever, purely because it's designed and developed and obviously cut in a way that I shoot personally for tournaments and targets, as you can see here today, for 6.3mm steel. You might have seen different bands are very daunting to start with. You have different various brands, and then you have a thickness. This is 0.45. Now the 4.5 is basically 0.45mm thick, so that's the thickness. So if you're seeing 0.6 or 0.5 or 0.7 or 0.8, the thicker the band, the harder the pull it's going to be. With flats, you do have to cut them to a taper. That's a nice thin taper for me, so it gives me a lot of speed. Not so much impact power, but it gives me speed and it gives me accuracy. For tournament shooting, you've got to bear in mind that you're not trying to kill the target. All you're trying to do is knock the target down or make the target ring, etc. So for hunting, it's very important to bear in mind you want to try and kill your game as humanely as possible. Obviously, like we've got today on permission, there's lots of seasons and different birds and stuff. Normally pheasant season, I think it's from October to March, but you need power to kill a bird that size. A 6.3mm like I'm shooting, it can be done, but you need to be insanely accurate and you need to be having an eyeball shot to do it. So I wouldn't recommend going for 6.3. The benefits of small ammo is, again, no hit power, but you do get a really flat trajectory, which makes it easier to hit the target. The bigger you go, the ball tends to start to arc, like so. So 6.3, when you release, is going to go like that. 10mm steel is going to go like that. So the further back that you go, you're going to have to obviously compensate for the drop of the shot into the target rather than aiming at the target. So very, very important to bear in mind. The higher steel and the heavier ball you go, you're going to need a heavier elastic. Like I said, this setup I think is good for up to about 7mm. You could, I suppose, shoot it with 8mm. This is 0.45 cut 16mm to 12mm taper. Works for me. Again, it's not going to work for everyone, but it's just a brief guide. With the higher steels, the bigger, heavier steels, the problem you're going to have is that you're going to increase your draw weight significantly to launch that ball down range or at game, which means that when you pull it back, it's going to feel nice and heavy, and you're not going to be as accurate as you would with a really, really light draw, which some people, it doesn't bother them. Some people actually prefer a heavy setup. But if anything, you want to be shooting from about 0.65 upwards if you're going to go over 8mm. Very, very important. The most important thing in catapult shooting is to make sure that you're matching your bands to your ammo. It's no good you trying to launch a 10mm steel through that setup, because you're not going to do it, and it's no good trying to launch a 6mm steel through a 0.8 20 straight cut flat band, because you're not going to get any benefit at all, and you're going to get loads and loads of band slack. So once you've decided what you want to do, you need to look at some bands. There's various makers online. There's Dean Chipley Ward, there's Ben Priestman, there's Richard Rogers. There's a lot of good band makers out there who can help you. If you say, I want to shoot this setup, I want to shoot this size ammo, then they will recommend a cut and taper for you, which will work for you. But I say it's very, very important at this stage that you take that into account, what you want to do with the frame. So I hope that helps. Nothing really more to say about it. It's a question that gets asked absolutely all the time, across all the groups, across online, and there's a lot of people misinforming the general public about what to use, and I thought I'd try and help the best way I can. But of course, if you get any questions, you can always drop me a comment, and of course, don't forget to like and share. Hope this helps, and if I missed anything out, apologies, but until next time, stay safe and shoot straight.